So coming up this week, the Chicago Bulls will be honoring some past greats. They call it the Ring of Honor. And one of the teams, they're going to honor a whole team, which was the 95-96 Chicago Bulls, 72-10 Chicago Bulls, who held the record of the best record ever until 2016 when the Warriors came in and messed that up. But anyways, they are still considered one of the greatest teams of all time. So today we're going to discuss, are the 95-96 Chicago Bulls the greatest NBA team of all times? And just like the GOAT debate, there's only a handful of teams you can lump into as the greatest NBA team ever. I would say those Bulls, of course, 2017 Warriors, 86 Celtics, 87 Lakers. You might even talk about the 01 Shaq and Kobe Lakers. But it's really not a huge list of the greatest teams of all time. So I'm going to let Big Nige go first. Do you think the 95-96 Chicago Bulls are the greatest team of all time?
Yeah, so before I get into that question, I want to just highlight a few, main points for each of these two teams I'm going to be discussing. So obviously the Bulls were 72-10. They were number one in offense for the 95-96 season, number one in defense. They're getting up about 115 points a game, holding teams to about 102 points a game.
One of the main back then.
And that's really good. And one of the main things for that team was pacing, and they were one of the slowest teams in the league.
They were
a interesting point as I continue. But obviously, they had a starting lineup, a very defensive-minded team. Ron Harper, a solid defensive guard at 6'6". Not giving you too much offensively, but still, again, at that time, 7 points a game was respectable. Not great, but respectable. A couple assists. Main thing for him, 1.3 steals a game. That's really good for a point guard in any era, not just back then. That'd be really good today. Not the greatest shooter, 27% from the three. Wasn't really a great free throw shooter either, which again could bite them in the butt with the next team I'm going to be bringing up. But obviously, MJ is all world, averaging 30 a game. I don't really need to get into too much detail. Pippen got 19, about 6 and 6, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Swiss Army knife on that team, can do everything. 1.7 steals a game. Again, very defensive minded. And since I'll go ahead and say MJ's, because everybody wants 2.2 steals a game for MJ that season. Like, he was a monster on both ends. Can't take nothing away from him. Rodman, of course, he was the league leader in rebounds that season at about 15 a game. It was like 14.9. Obviously, we know he brings to the table defensively. Obviously, he's not out there to give you too much offense. He's just strictly defense. But he can put the ball in the hoop at times when they need it.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I won't even get into that center. I mean, Winnington, whatever you want to. I mean, he's just there. He's just a big body.
Luke Longley was there.
Yeah.
Starting. He wasn't that. He was okay. Big body.
Just some space, set some big bodies and just get out the way. Honorable mention for that team, obviously Tony Kukoc come in there and give them a whole different dynamic. Coming in for Dennis Rodman, of course, and just giving them basically two different styles of play. But, so as great as that team is, I'm going to say they are not the greatest team of all time. I'm going to go with the 2016-2017 Warriors. Now, let me go ahead and bring it to you real quick, all right? So, obviously, 67-15 for the season, Obviously, some people thought they were going to go past what they did the season before acquiring Kevin Durant, where they were the 73-9 Warriors, like you discussed. Number one in offense for the year, about 116. So they're putting up similar numbers to that Bulls team with a faster pace, which I can get into that for the Bulls, as that would mean that the Bulls are a slower team, but they still get up the same amount of offensive production as one of the fastest teams in the league at the time. Obviously, the defensively, there's not a huge drop off between the two teams, but they're still in favor of the Bulls overall at about 105 for the defensive rating for the Warriors, 102 for the Bulls, 99.8 for pacing. Like I said, the Warriors were fourth in the NBA and that season in terms of their pacing. But again, Curry, we already know, starting point guard, 25 a game. We know what Curry can do, 6.6 assists. Obviously, he's not the playmaker on the team. That would go to Draymond Green. Got Klay Thompson giving you 22 a game. 46, 41 splits from the field and three-point line. Kevin Durant, right? This specific version of Kevin Durant was the best version of Kevin Durant defensively.
What?
This man was in the discussion for DPOY that year. He was averaging, obviously on top of his great production offensively with 25 a game, he's giving you 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.1 steals per game, and 1.6 blocks per game, which is the highest out of both teams' starting lineups. I'm going to just say that. Obviously, he's efficient, 54% from the field, 38% from the three. We know what KD is. He is a bucket. Draymond Green, 10 points a game, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. We know what Draymond's bringing. And he's bringing 1.4 blocks per game. At 6'6", he is going to be a problem for that Bulls team. All right? Obviously, they got, Zaza Pachulia, but, again, another big body waste of space. Now, when you look at how these two teams match up, now, defensively, like we said, the Bulls have the edge. And offensively, they're pretty much almost similar.
Dead even.
But where I'm going to give the edge to the Warriors, we have Curry, Klay, and Durant. 3 all-world scorers in this game.
Oh.
And if you want to throw Ron Harper, MJ, and MJ, Pippen, and Rodman, have those 4 kind of divvy up the offensive or defensive assignments, I hear you. And I'm not going to say they're not going to make Steph, Klay, and Durant work extremely hard for all their buckets. So if you say the starters are getting theirs and everybody's kind of balanced it out, right? Then where does that leave the game going to? It goes to the bench. And you and I both know.
Here we go.
And you and I both know, as great as that Bulls team was, outside of Tony Kukoc coming off that bench, they really weren't getting that much. But if you go to the Warriors bench, you got the mid-range assassin that is Sean Livingston. Every pull-up midi that he took with my 2 eyes that I have seen, I don't think I've ever seen him miss unless he gets fouled. All right. He's giving you great efficiency off the bench. Andre Iguodala, a Hall of Famer, and at that time in 2016, 2017, still can play starter-level minutes and give you starter-level production. They just had Kevin Durant on the team, so he didn't need to do that anymore. You had David West, who again, nothing special, but still can give you offensive production. And on top of that, you can swap out Zaza Pachulia with JaVale McGee at any point in this lineup to get an offensive, athletic big man who can block shots, run the floor, and give you all-world defense. So I'm just saying, we look top to bottom, not starting lineup to starting lineup, but top to bottom, including both of their benches. I'm giving the Warriors the edge in a tough 7-game series.
See, you going by numbers. I'm going by the eyes. I got to see those 96 Bulls play and those Warriors teams play. So, in my rebuttal, the 96 Bulls are easily the greatest team of all time. Easily.
Come on, man.
I would actually put,
that's disrespectful.
For the Warriors, I would put that 86 Celtics team. People sleep on because, those guys didn't look like, the athletes we have today. But Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, who was playing pretty good. That was a tough team. I mean, you can look like that, but ask anybody. That Boston Celtics team.
You did not just listen to the team that I just gave you. 2 of these guys are potentially top 10, top 15 players that ever
I'm just saying we shouldn't sleep on that 86 team, and I think it is comparable to that Golden State team as far as how good they were. But anyways, I'm going to get back on track with the 96 Bulls. The 96 Bulls were just a juggernaut. I mean, you have Michael Jordan coming back from baseball, having a full season, playing some of the best basketball of his career. You know, he struggled in the finals a little bit against Gary Payton, but I mean, just look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. This team, I won't say this team created small ball, but they have one of the most lethal small ball lineups that would easily be able to take down that Golden State Warriors team. Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, and Dennis Rodman. That's all defense. They could switch anything. They can switch anyone in the Golden State Warriors death lineup that they talk so heavily about. Like you said, their only weakness was their bench, but they had, as I said, Tony Kukoc could get you some baskets, could do some great things. He could play some defense. Steve Kerr wasn't terrible. You know, he could come off the bench and get you a bucket or two.
At 6'3".
At 6'3", yes, he could get you a couple of buckets. Judd Buechler. I mean, I know that's a name nobody brings up. Another sniper from outside. So they had shooting. They had everything Golden State had, and I think they had it maximized. I think their defense was way better. They had shooters. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me bring up some numbers since you're the numbers man. 3-point averages, 3-point percentages. Jordan shot 42%. Scotty's 37%.
No. Hold on. Before you say that, you know Jordan was not a high volume 3-point shooter.
Okay, none of them were. That the three ball wasn't. The three ball wasn't.
They're in the 40s if they're taking like 4 a game, 5 a game.
But it was not. Those years were not a high volume.
Then you can't use that. You can't use that in your argument.
But he could hit them when he wanted to. When he shot them, he hit them.
Steph Curry is a 41 3% shooter, and he's getting about 10 a game.
Okay, but when Jordan shot them, he made them. He didn't shoot a lot of them, but he made them. Like I said, Pippen 37%, Kukoc 40%, Steve Kerr 51%. These guys could shoot. They had scoring in bunches, and they had defense. Yes, they played a slower pace because both of their bigs were slower guys, and they ran the triangle. So it was, they were a little slower than what Golden State would be compared to them, but they could play them. They equal them everywhere. Like I said, the bench just isn't as strong, but those guys could play big minutes. Scotty could play big. Who?
Who's equaling that? All right, you can put whatever you say.
I didn't say their benches were equal.
No. I'm talking about like, give me the starting lineups right here. When you're talking about production, you can cancel out MJ and Durant. They can match each other.
Okay.
Shot for shot. All right. Take them out the equation. Who on that team is matching Steph Curry when he goes out?
I mean, that wasn't their game though. Mike was Mike was their scorer.
Okay, but if Mike can get matched, if someone can go 40 for 40 with
Scotty can. The team of Scotty and Tony Kukoc can get you buckets on the same level of Steph Curry.
They wouldn't even match Curry with the two of them wouldn't match Curry. What? And then you got Klay Thompson giving you about 18 to 25 whenever he wants to.
Jordan would clamp Klay down. Klay probably couldn't get a shot.
He probably wouldn't even be guarding Klay. He would probably be guarding Durant.
Who, Mike?
Yeah. Or Pippen would.
No, Pippen would be guarding Durant.
Either Mike way, it's barbecue. I'm smelling.
And Ron Harper is an underrated defensive player.
He's a great defender.
He can chase Steph off them screen, and they can switch. They're similar to the Denver Nuggets, where everybody in that starting lineup is long and big, so they can switch off.
It's a different thing. Like, Denver looks really good against these Warriors today because they don't got a prime Steph, Klay, and a prime Durant, all just on that.
I'm just saying they're a big team, so it makes it tougher for teams to shoot over them because they got a lot of lanky, long guys out there, so did the Bulls.
You can throw any of those defenders at Kevin Durant, and it's barbecue. That's straight barbecue.
Durant is going to get his.
We're talking about a 7-foot sniper.
Okay, Durant's going to get his, but Scotty's going to make
his best.
Scotty's going to make it tough. Scotty's going to make it tough. So is Jordan. Those guys will make it tough on him.
Barbecue. You can give me barbecue and barbecue Jordan.
They could throw Rodman on him. They could throw Rodman on him too.
On who?
On Durant.
You crazy. You are crazy.
Rodman's going to beat him up.
Rodman is like modern day, like, okay, he's like a super duper PJ Tucker. Like, he's a way better defender than PJ Tucker. But in terms of the physicality, we see what Durant does to physicality. He tears them boys up. The only time you can say Kevin Durant really got locked in is when a team like the Boston Celtics literally had a 5-man box and one pretty much on him because no one else on that Brooklyn Nets team was giving them anything. Let's be honest now. We talking about one of the best scorers to ever play the game now. Don't disrespect it. And I'm not even a big KD fan, but don't disrespect that man now.
I'm not disrespecting. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying.
Barbecue that man. Alive.
I said he would get his, but I'm saying it would be a tough out because they can throw a lot of different defenders that are good, solid defenders at Durant.
For sure. And they all get cooked.
I mean, they can live with that. They can live with KD cooking.
What about so if they can let KD get his, who do you think they would neutralize? Steph?
Yeah. They're gonna make sure that he doesn't get to any of the spots he wants to get to.
What about Clay? You gonna concede Clay?
Like I said, if they use that lineup, they can have somebody. They can put Kukoc on Clay.
Barbecue. No, don't you dare.
Have you even seen Tony Kukoc play?
I have seen him play. Regardless of what you may think, I do watch the game, and I've seen how both of these teams move, which is exactly why I'm telling you. Then, like, if you take Kevin Durant out of the conversation, they get mollywopped. And I said it's a close 7-game series, but I'm saying the addition of Kevin Durant and that bench, it's just not. The Bulls don't have enough.
Well, who's stopping Mike?
Who rely on their defense to beat this team, and it's not.
And they can do that.
Too many options. They have way too many options for the Bulls.
They're way too what?
They have way too many offense. They have way too many options for the Bulls to stop them in a 7-game series, like two or three games. Yeah.
So you think their defense is going to stop the Bulls? They have enough defense to stop the Bulls, or they can just outscore them?
I'm saying the Bulls do not have enough to stop Golden State because there's too much offensive firepower in that.
So you're saying they're just going to outscore the Bulls?
I mean, okay, so pretty much what I'm saying is both teams at their best, Golden State is just higher. And if you're going to rely on stopping them 4 games out of a 7-game series, it's not going to happen if you can't get some offense up with them. Like I said, they're one of the fastest teams in the league.
But what I'm saying is, you're saying the Bulls wouldn't be able to stop the Warriors.
Not for 4 straight.
But how are the Warriors going to stop the Bulls? You're saying the Warriors are going to be able to stop the Bulls from scoring?
Who's going to score besides MJ and maybe Pippen?
Kukoc.
Okay, we can live with that because Jordan can give me 40, Pippen can give me 25, and Kukoc can give me like 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that,
and like I said, they have snipers coming off the bench.
Points?
They have snipers coming off the bench.
My first 3 players in this team, Curry, Thompson, and Durant, can all give me 30. That's 3 guys
against the Bulls defense. You're saying they can just score at will against the Bulls? No,
they can get. I promise you. Like, no. I know for a fact, Kevin Durant's gonna get his. Now Curry.
I said Kevin Durant, but no.
But who is staying in front of Curry like that? If you have to put,
they'll play him by committee.
If you have to put that much effort on Kevin Durant alone, who is going to stop Steph Curry? Teams are literally structured to stop him because he moves off ball 24/7.
Okay, that's why I said they will guard him by committee.
So if you're going to guard Steph by committee, now you got Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have Pippen on Durant.
Barbecue.
And then you're going to have them kind of switch and see who's defending the best between Jordan, Harper, maybe Kukoc. know if I put Kukoc on Steph, but I would.
No.
They can switch everything. Like I said, they can just switch everything. And since they couldn't play zone back then, they could zone them up. Tell them
zone up against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Barbecue. You are out of your mind.
They could do it for spot man with that second with those others in. They could definitely.
And we're not even factoring in the playmaking of Draymond Green. Like one of the biggest things.
But you're not factoring in the playmaking of Pippen.
And Draymond are two. They're compared in terms of their physicality and the dirty work that they do for those teams. But Draymond is a way better passer. They can run the offense through Draymond.
Rodman, he's a one-man band. He's there for one thing. Well, two things really: rebounding and defense. And but you have Pippen. A better comparison is Pippen. Pippen was a playmaker.
Yeah, he was. But Draymond isn't the athlete. He can't get
Draymond,
up and down like Pippen.
Draymond, to me, would be a very little factor in that series.
Offensively,
he'd probably be kicked. He'd probably be suspended once Rodman got through.
Man, you talking about Rodman? You talking about a suspension from Draymond when you got Rodman in your team? Come on now.
Rodman didn't get suspended like that. Rodman knew how to push them buttons, and he would push every one of Draymond's buttons.
Draymond would go right back and do the same thing.
Maybe, but
I'm just thinking, just because I think people overrate defense too much sometimes. Like, okay, we all know that this team is all world defensively, but if you're gonna tell me that they're gonna lock down the Warriors 4 out of 7 games, I'm not gonna believe it. Because, like I said, you have two guys who are probably top 15 all time, in that starting lineup. And the bench is insane. Like, the disparity between the bench, like when those guys, MJ, and they got to sit down at some point. And that bench was so good, they were running teams off the floor before
96, they
got back home.
They weren't sitting down in 96.
I know because Jordan was averaging almost 40 minutes a game in some points. Like, I understand he's a monster. He can play both ends and he can stay on the floor for a long time, but he can't do it by himself.
No, he can't do it by himself, but he has a solid committee. That's why they ended up being 6-0 in the finals, because
they ain't run into no team like this. They wouldn't have been 6-0 if they ran into a team like this. I can guarantee you that. Absolutely.
That's debatable. And
debatable? What?
That's debatable.
What?
So you said, it would be a close series. I think it would go down to a game 7.
Game 7 going to Warriors. Maybe you can make the argument that it depends on who has home court. But if you're asking me if you take home court out of this, and you're just saying who's better in a 7-game series, I'm going with the Warriors in 7 games. I just think Kevin Durant with Steph Curry is a matchup we've never seen them lose. Like, let's just call it what it is. Just like we never saw the Bulls lose, we never saw that team lose.
2019. Anyway,
Kevin Durant was hurt. Don't even give me that. I know you. Nah, man. Kevin Durant went down and Clay went down. So don't give me that, Brad. Because when those teams were at the peak of their powers, either one of them lost. So that's a fair argument to say that they could do it.
It would be a solid series.